Good evening. This is the Town of Barnstable Waterways Committee meeting on Tuesday, December the 17th, 2024. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable Public Access Channel and website. And under Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 20, I must inquire if anyone is recording this meeting, and if so, please make your presence known to the chair. For the Town of Barnstable Waterways Committee, we have members present: Todd Wolantis, Gary Schramick, Jacob Angelo, and myself, Paul Everson. And present for the Town of Barnstable, we have Harbor Master Brian Taylor and Deputy Harbor Master Jay Horn. And am I missing anybody else from the town?
Yep, new tonight, we have Assistant Harbor Master Tyler McKay present with us as well.
Hi guys, sorry I was muted.
Okay, thank you. And Assistant Tyler McKay. All right, let's just jump into the agenda here first. We're going to act on the meeting minutes for the meeting of November the 17th of 2024. And has everybody had a chance to look at those minutes? And if they are satisfactory, I'll take either a motion to approve or any other input.
So moved.
All right.
We could just duly note, it was actually November 19th that the meeting occurred. This says the 17th. The meeting minutes were actually the 19th. Just want to clarify that.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll amend that. So it'll be the minutes for November the 19th, 2024. We have a motion to accept by Todd Wolantis. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thanks, Gary. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay. And next, we do not have any notices of intent, nor do we have any mooring appeals. Don't get used to that. They'll be coming fast and furious, I'm sure. Old business, we have mooring regulations.
Yes, sir. I spoke at the last meeting stating that we were going to have a public hearing that already occurred. It was December 9th. The regulations were put into record. They then went to the town manager, and now they're in a 30-day, waiting period at town council. So they should be in effect on or around January 9th, 2025.
Okay, thank you, Jay. And the marina fees?
So good news, marina fees were just approved this past week by the town manager, and they will go into effect calendar year starting January 1st, 2025.
All right, congratulations. I know that was a lot of hard work on your part, Harbor Master Taylor.
Yours as well. I appreciate the multiple workshops and meetings we had in regards to the fees.
Okay, well, thank you. Success all around. Item number 3, termination of AGL services license appeal. This is continued from the last meeting. Do we have anybody on behalf of AGL to speak?
Hold on.
Okay, we're working on signing in. Hit the video.
Hey,
Chuck,
video.
or Chip.
Okay.
Hi there, Mr. Chairman or Acting Chairman with Paul Revere, Chip Niehoff. Can you? Your video is still not going on.
There we go.
Okay.
Want to hit this? Yep. There we are.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. I did speak with town council this afternoon, and maybe that will help clarify things. My understanding is that the meeting is still open for public comment. Okay. And we're gonna have some little public comment, perhaps close it, and maybe you'll be ready to vote. I'm gonna make a few statements here. It's Paul Revere on behalf of Chip Niehoff, who's to the left of me here, who is the owner and essentially principal of AGL Marine. And then he's going to make a few comments and we'll see where it goes from there. I just want to state for the record that Mr. Niehoff at AGL has had some concerns about the procedure. From day one, we asked that this be held in person because it's difficult to do something like this over Zoom. I say that because while we can use screen sharing and issues like that, it is difficult to make presentations. We also had problems with the procedure at the first meeting. We thought that the first meeting was just going to be a continuation. It was an agreement I had with town council Kathleen Connolly about this matter. And instead of just a simple continuation of the next meeting, Mr. Horn put on a 5 to 10 minute presentation of alleged violations. I'm not here to criticize that actions, but only to the effect that it was a problematic from procedure. Okay, we asked for it to be in person. We then had a second meeting, and at the second meeting, Mr. Niehoff and I did most of the speaking because Chip gets a little nervous, and you'll hear him speak in a minute, addressing the 7 alleged violations in the letter. And I think we addressed many of them comprehensively about people who wanted Mr. Niehoff to put in legal moorings. Didn't seem to be a violation. We were then thrown with 3 additional allegations of issues and new information, documents, and pictures involving moorings in Waquaket Lake, placements of an Evans Arnold mooring a few years ago, and new pictures regarding what I'll call the Schmidt moorings. And because they suddenly brought up, we're not prepared to address them. And we have some information to address them now. But the procedure was problematic. And some of this we found odd, not particularly professional, almost to the extent of bullying in the matter. In any event, I just want to show you a couple things which relate to this, and this is the problems with doing the meeting in the manner we're doing it remote, because if we have to do screen sharing, it's going to be complicated. I'm using Chip's computer at the moment, but there was a number of allegations about moorings with the name of Walker on them, and that the Walker moorings were exactly the same moorings as the Schmidt moorings. So we had this back in November. Mr. Niehoff went out the next day and he took some photos, and I can show you here. I'm going to hold them up, and I hopefully have your screen right here. But this here is the Walker mooring the following day or 2 days after that meeting, 2:10 in the water. And the second one, Hyannisport, 2:11 in the water. And Mr. Niehoff said, or excuse me, these are the Schmidt moorings. He said, I don't service any Walker moorings. Okay, Walker is the name of his mother, who Mr. Niehoff has a difficult and estranged relationship with. And the boat owner was a person by the name of Schmidt, his sister's married name. Okay, and there are all these allegations that a Walker mooring, she put her boat on and it went away. And Mr. Niehoff said, I don't service any moorings with the name Walker. I service ones with the name Schmidt. And there's 2 of them, and here they are sitting in the water the day following. That's what Mr. Niehoff said. Other interesting thing, there were discussions of moorings not being painted in Waquaket.
Yeah, let me address that.
Yeah, and Mr. Niehoff, you want to address that?
Yeah, so, committee, I guess, Office of the Harbor Master, thank you for letting me talk. I do a lot of the moorings for the Lake Waquaket Yacht Club. I've agreed to do that for them. And, but there is some people there that do their own moorings. There are, I think, 72 or 78 in the field, and there are probably 20 or 30 people that do their own moorings. And they winter stick their own mooring. That means they put a winter spar on it over the winter. And then in the spring, they go out and they put their ball and top gear on their mooring, and they take that winter spar off. So Mr. Horn said that he couldn't see the names and numbers clearly on the balls. So I went
The
over
pile of balls on the floor.
the pile of balls at the Waquaca Yacht Club. So I went over and I checked on them. And to my discovery, and again, I'm not trying to get in a game of he say, she said, but the majority of those names were people that had winter sticked and done the moorings themselves. So, you know, here I am here trying to explain this through a Zoom call, and I don't know if I can properly do that, but I want you, the committee, to understand this. There were probably 25 people that put their own winter sticks in out there that last year, and they came in, they put their own moorings in. Now, to blanket me and say that I didn't properly number them, I numbered every one of them that were customers of mine. And then this fall, I was told to tell the yacht club that we were going to have all the moorings taken out. And there was a letter to go out from the office saying that would happen. Well, I conveyed that verbally to the owners of the moorings at the Lake Waquaca Yacht Club. And so we pulled all the moorings. I'm sure, you know, if that was not the case, they would have winter sticked them as they have in the past. So, you know, I try to, basically what I'm saying is I do what you ask, okay? And I don't, that's it. I mean, whatever I can, you know, so.
So let's get on. Okay. A further thing that has happened, there was significant discussion about the placement of the helix mooring for Evans Arnold. Could you explain who Evans Arnold is, Chip?
Evans Arnold is a member, he's a member of the Hyannisport Yacht Club. He also owns he used to have 3 houses in Hyannisport. His father was Evans Arnold, or L. Arnold, excuse me, an avid hunter, bird watcher. I mean, excellent man. I mean, like a man's man. He had a mooring, and in 1999, when he died, his mooring was given to his son, Evans. At that time, Evans Arnold had 2 moorings. He was very instrumental in helping regrid the Hyannisport Harbor because it is filling in, and I mean, you're aware of that. The club is asking for, you know, to change the configuration of the pier, just because of that. Evans Arnold hired Sullivan Engineering to have a study done on how they could maximize moorings out in the harbor. Brian Taylor, myself, another servicer, we all met at the harbor master's office, and we outlined and we gridded out where to put the moorings with the help of Evans Arnold work with Sullivan Engineering. At that time, you know, we discussed putting a helix in for him, and that was approved. That was approved, I believe it was 2019, it was pre-COVID, 2018, 2019.
So do you do work for Evans Arnold now?
No, I don't.
And did you hear from Evans recently?
Yes, I did.
And what did he tell you happened?
His mooring was picked up by the harbor master's office.
Yes. Within weeks of his name being mentioned at a hearing and relationship Chip Niehoff, this is Mr. Evans Arnold's mooring on the ground last week. Yes. Point is, this, and then we have pictures of the chain, has nothing to do with Chip Niehoff, occurred at the same time, and it's just curious in our mind. we're bringing this up, we've had problems with procedure, but also that Mr. Niehoff was trying to explain to you about, his history with the harbor master's office, his ability, how he's worked with the harbor master's office, always trying to work on solutions, and maybe you should explain a bit more some of the things you've done over the last couple of years.
Certainly. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, Waterways Committee, I've been licensed with the town for 17 years. This is my life. I dedicate my life to the water and the people on it. I try to help people on it. And when people ask me, I try to help. And in the past, the harbor master's office has called on me to say, can you, for example, can you run some fuel out to a scalper that's broken down? Certainly. There's some winter sticks out there. Can you help? Do you know whose they are? There's a boat floating around. I'm not sure it's in the anchorage, but we don't know whose it is. Can you help me out? Yeah. During squid season, a Vietnamese guy fell off the boat, and I, with the help of the Coast Guard, recovered his body off Squaw Island. This is what I do. You guys, and I just do it. Like, this is what I do. I was on the water, it was a split tide today. I was out there this morning, and I was out there this evening in Barnstable Harbor. I would love to bring some people forward, and I know people want to come forward and talk for me. Friends, acquaintances, customers, even enemies, but they fear the repercussions of doing that. They don't want to get bullied. So I'm just, anyways,
So
listen, I respect the office, okay, guys, and I'm totally blindsided by this.
So I just want to finish this up here. I don't know how the Waterways Committee is going to vote. In many respects, I had this discussion with Kay Connolly of the town council's office. Was basically, we're at the point now that we're voting on Mr. Niehoff's revocation of his 2024 license. And I think let's see, I've been busy, but there are 13 days left in 2024. What concerns us most is what effect at all this proceeding and the vote, assuming you take a vote tonight, has on Mr. Niehoff's ability, AGL Marine, to apply in 2025. Now, I would love to tell you that you should vote to not uphold rescinding the license. You don't have to agree with me or not, but however you vote, I would ask maybe that you suggest to the harbor master's office that in reviewing an application for 2025, that perhaps they work to condition some relicensing in a manner such that I'll call it the market, that Mr. Niehoff can continue to service moorings, but will be more closely regulated and managed, because one of the concerns that a number of Mr. Niehoff's fellow mooring servicers have pointed out is if he can no longer service moorings, there is going to be a significant gap in the number of people who can fill it. No one else is in the business. He does a large percentage of it. And to a large extent, he's providing a public service. And we would hope that perhaps, you can uphold, if you want to, the actions of the harbor master, but also suggest that they're in relicensing to look at whether there isn't a manner to work to ensure that any of these problems do not occur again going forward. Do you have anything else to add, Chip?
Thank you.
Thank you, members of the committee.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do we have any other public comment that would like to participate at this time? Hearing none, I will close the public comment on this matter.
Sorry, was were you asking the committee for comments before that? Sorry.
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
if the public had, if there were any other public comments. Now I'll go to committee members. Any input from committee members that'd like to say before we take this to a vote?
I'd like to say something if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead, David.
I'd like to just say, I think that, you know, I believe these reports that, the harbor master has put forward, but, you know, we're talking about somebody's livelihood. And you're asking the committee, we're basically putting the committee members up to vote against somebody's livelihood. I just was curious if like there was maybe a third option, and I know that like, you know, super probation or having the harbor master keep extra tabs on somebody is a burden on the department, but in some sort of compromise, I was wondering if maybe Mr. Horn would be willing to maybe entertain like an audit, like in the next whenever month, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever, like sooner than later. And if that audit shows, you know, call it 6 moorings, 10 moorings, 12 moorings, whatever, go out, pull them up, see if there is anything wrong with any of them, then it's just an instant death. And that would really, maybe for me at least, you know, take a lot off my conscience of putting somebody out of business. And I'm not denying any of these claims from the harbor masters. I saw the pictures, the chains were concerning, you know, it's compelling evidence, but I just, you know, I didn't know what Jay would want to, you know, if you want to say anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't want to get into everything again. However, you know, what I will say, and I've stated this before, is that I've given this company every opportunity to work with me.
Mhm.
The first email was extremely friendly. Hey, Chip, let's open up a line of communication here. And I've received no response. A couple weeks go by, a month goes by, I notice more issues. Again, I send another email. This time I fired a shot across the bow. I said, hey, if this continues, your license may be in jeopardy. I still left an out. I didn't want to come across too strict at that point. In between those two incidents, there were several phone calls, voicemails, and nothing was returned to me. The entire situation was ignored. A month or two passes. Again, I go out, I notice new violations. So this time I changed tactics. We send a certified letter. This time we you know, officially say, listen, any more infractions and, you know, your license, it, you know, may not be renewed, or, you know, is in jeopardy of not being renewed. And again, this company doesn't call me, doesn't show up to my office, makes no attempt to rectify any of these situations whatsoever. And at this point, you know, I don't know what else to do. This is a very serious decision for me. 2 months ago, you heard me struggling about this announcement. I did not take it lightly, but it's literally the last resort. And the reason is that we have some serious public safety issues here. Every year, multiple boats wind up on the beach for failed tackle. And I don't want to get into, you know, these aren't allegations. These are facts. These are incident reports recorded by law enforcement officers. They're not allegations. And if any time Mr. Revere wanted access to these incident reports before this hearing, he could have requested those. That's public information. To sit here in front of the committee and say nowhere in the regulations does it say that the licensed servicer is responsible for putting winter stakes out. That's 100% false. Gentlemen, when you sign the contract to be a licensed mooring servicer in this town, what you are agreeing to is our regulations. That's your job. When a permit holder hires a licensed mooring servicer, what they are doing is paying for compliance, okay? It's not the permit holder's responsibility to go out there and put their winter stake on or paint their mooring ball or put the right number on it. They're paying for that service. They're paying for the compliance, and they're doing so under, you know, the hope that it's going to be done properly and that their boat's going to be safe. If people were responsible for putting their own winter stakes on, I wouldn't need SHIP. We wouldn't have any licensed mooring servicers. So this whole thing, to me, there's been zero accountability. And I just want to say that the incidents I, presented to this committee were a fraction of what's actually occurred and what continues to occur even between the last meeting and this meeting. November 27th, I was contacted about a rogue mooring ball floating around near a federal channel. I was off that day. I contacted Harbor Master Taylor. I made him aware of the situation. And, I was told to respond on Thanksgiving morning. So Thanksgiving morning, I'm out there working, recovering his equipment, which, by the way, this was his customer because Mr. Arnold's did not contact me until after the fact when he already decided to change servicers. And he did so because he had multiple problems with AGL and they didn't put his mooring in time this year. So he decided to change his mooring servicer. The new mooring servicer couldn't find the ball. And that's because the tackle failed. Again, lack of inspection. And again, I just don't want to go down all this, gentlemen. This termination was done in accordance with our regulations, and they exceeded our regulations. I could have terminated him in 2022 and it would have been well within my right. But I kept giving him second, third, fourth chances, hoping that this situation would correct itself. And unfortunately, it hasn't. And I don't see any possibility where there's a probationary period or anything like that at this point. And as far as the workload, we've already taken measures. We already know there's 2 other mooring servicers that are licensed in that area. They are well aware of what's going on now. They were listening in on the meetings, and both of them have no issues with taking over these customers and making sure that the inspections are done properly. So.
All right, Jake, thank you. Just move on to any other committee members, Todd or Gary. Any further
Yeah,
input?
I'm happy to weigh in quickly because I think we've already covered the issue in
Right.
great depth, but this license, provides you the ability to execute in your job, in your commitment, and that has not been met. It hasn't been met for several years. There's been copious warnings, failures that have all been very, very well outlined as far as I'm concerned. I think Mr. Niehoff undoubtedly has a great heart, but nonetheless, you have to execute at a certain level to maintain this license, hence the license in and of itself. And I think, I'm ready to put it to a vote. And as far as 2025 goes, I think his performance has dictated what the result will be of applying in my eyes. So,
Okay, thank you, Gary.
Yeah, I kind of agree regarding the multiple notifications and just disregard of those and safety. That's a key issue. So I agree with Todd as well.
Okay, I did completely review the 11/19 meeting that I was not present at, but I have completed the appropriate paperwork, so I can weigh in on this. I think after review of all the matters, it's simply not a problem with arising beyond clerical problems or paperwork or this. It is tantamount to a dangerous situation where it was well documented by the Harbor Master Department. So I would entertain a motion to uphold the decision of the Harbor Master's Department's decision to terminate AGL as one of their approved contractors.
I would like to make that motion.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Second?
I'd second it.
Okay, Gary, and so we have Todd is a yes, Gary is yes, Jacob?
Yes.
Okay, Jacob and myself in the affirmative. So we do uphold the decision of the Harbor Master Department for the termination of the AGL. In speaking what Mr. Councilor Revere has said, I also would say that if Mr. Niehoff applies for the position again, just realize the gravity of the situation and the consequences. But I would hope that if things on his end can get sorted out. I understand there's some complication between family members and some other things that have contributed to this, and maybe not managing, the folks doing their own mooring. If somehow things can get squared away, I would hope that maybe that could be a consideration going forward on any further applications to become a servicer again. Okay, thank you all for that.
Thank you, members of the committee, on behalf of AGL Marine. I don't think this is the end of this, but I believe you listened to what you heard, and while we disagree with your decision, we understand you're a citizens board, and we want to thank you for your efforts, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah,
All right.
Mr. Revere, just so we're clear that the license is terminated and his customers will be notified tomorrow.
You can do whatever you want to, Mr.
Okay,
Horn. I will intend to do what I think protects Mr. Niehoff's interest. I was not here to argue about things. I will listen to you say things that were inconsistent one after another tonight, and we'll move from there, okay? And I just thank the Waterways Committee. If you want to send out letters, my answer, I'll just put it very simple. Dig your hole as deep as you want, sir. Thank you. Good night.
All right, so thank you. Next up, we have new business, 2025 Waterways Committee
Us?
meeting date.
Leave meeting. Leave meeting.
So right now,
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to let the committee know the next meeting will be January 23rd, 2025. I apologize for the date mishap on the minutes, but the next meeting is January 23rd, 2025. At that point, we will provide the committee with a list of future dates for the 2025 calendar year.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have.
again, real quick, sorry, that we need to do a correction on that. That date, unless you'd like to do that, is a Thursday. And so if you'd like, we can have it on a Thursday. It's completely up to the committee, but it's usually on a Tuesday, which would be the last, excuse me. It would be the 21st or the 28th. It's completely up to the committee though.
Why don't we schedule it for the 21st then?
Okay.
No other objections or conflicts with anybody. We'll go with the 21st.
Okay, we'll do a correction on that and we'll do it the 21st.
Okay, thank you. Correspondence, Paul Phelan email regards mooring usage. And again, Jay, do you have that where you could put that up on the screen? I am, again, limited. I'm operating off of a iPhone and I do not have that.
I think Mr. Phelan is here to speak to it.
Oh, okay. We have Mr. Phelan.
it's okay with the Waterways Committee, like, I would like to go, a second call and give Mr. Tran a chance. I have the utmost respect for, one of the finest business persons in Hyannis Harbor. If it's okay with the committee, I'd like to let him go first.
Sure, absolutely. So do we have Stan Drake Pirate Adventures present?
I believe we do.
Yeah, Mr. Drake is here. I believe Molly's here as well.
Yes, hi. My dad might be having technical difficulties. Dad, press unmute.
Jay, can you manually unmute him?
Bottom
ask
left
him.
corner, bottom left corner on your screen.
I can ask him to unmute.
Yeah, why don't we try that? Maybe it'll pop up.
I did. I don't see how I can manually unmute him.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if he did it or I did it, but he's not muted anymore. Mr. Drake, are you there?
No, he's still muted.
He's showing unmuted on my screen.
Let's give that a short try, and if not, we'll go back to Mr. Phelan regards to the, what he'd like to speak to.
Thank you very
Molly, do you want to call him and talk him through it? Oh, she is. Okay. Yeah, let's go to Mr. Phelan.
Okay, Mr. Phelan, are you available?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much for recognizing me once again. I want to thank members of the committee. This is very important committee in the town of Barnstable, and I appreciate you all volunteering. This is really great to be speaking to my to a group of my peers. I forwarded a very interesting news article I read regarding Harbor Master Souza in the town of Barnstable, excuse me, from the town of Marblehead. He claims to be the second most busy harbor, and numbers also with moorings in the state. And I'm pretty sure my information is right. Barnstable is first, and I thought Falmouth was second. However, he has an interesting concept that's really worked for him. And I did forward it. I forwarded to Mr. Harbor Master Taylor, who incidentally I worked for 3 years and enjoyed every single day and look forward to going to work every single day. That's why I never missed a day. And I believe I never had a complaint from the public because of having a supervisor like Harbor Master Taylor. I have to give, if I just have a minute, Mr. Chairman, to praise that section of the MEA, having worked for them.
Yep, go ahead.
I come from, thank you, having done 25 years of boating in Boston Harbor with 6 different law enforcement agencies vigilantly monitoring that area. It was a pleasure to work for MEA under Harbor Master Taylor. I learned right away that his philosophy was to educate people. And instead of, we're the only, I will mention, we're the only state in New England that doesn't require any type of training whatsoever to purchase a boat and launch it out in our waterways. And Harbor Master Taylor has always been focused on educating the public first. So moving on to what I wanted to say tonight. I think that people who aren't using their moorings should be able to loan them back to the town for a year or 5 years. however they want, however long they wish. I'm hoping that the Waterways Committee will look into this and consider it. Our goal in the town should be to have 100% of our moorings used. And as a mariner myself, on both sides, the north and the south sides, I know for a fact that there are areas that are only used, well, areas that aren't used, I would guess approximately 25%. Some areas like bigger areas that like Katuitt Harbor, I believe are very well used and regulated. And believe me, I'm not through no fault of the harbor master's office. There are ways for anybody to abuse anything, no matter what rules we put in. But I'm asking and requesting the Waterways Committee if to give permission or to direct our harbor master to seek a meeting with Harbor Master Souza and get his input and get more information. I realize that there's a lot of work that's going to have to go on behind this, and the Harbor Master's office is already quite overworked. And I was present a lot to verify that.
Right.
As you all know, that it's 20 years, excuse me, it's a long time to wait for a mooring in Barnstable right now. And I think this lend program should be looked into. And I'll close, before I close, I just want to say, if you have any questions at me regarding this program, I suggest that you speak directly to Mr. Souza. I can't answer the details on this. I couldn't, I did not contact him on purpose, I don't think, but I wish my hope is that the committee will give Harbor Master Taylor and his assistant, Harbor Master Horn, the authority, or at least contact and look into a program like this. One thing that I learned working with Harbor Master Taylor was he has a very open mind. He's a very educated man who I've seen him numerous times deal in some very difficult positions, and he always held himself very professional. And I see that I see that Mr. Drake is on, and I will close right there. Mr. Chairman, thank you for your consideration of this. And thank you again for the rest, all these board members for volunteering.
Hang on,
I don't know how to. We actually have looked into this. I've spoken with the harbor master out at Block Island. They have a program like that. But they're, again, the problem or the nice thing for them, they're all contained within what they call the Great Pond there. And it's a lot easier to keep track of something like that. But we have discussed that as the Waterways Committee on something like that. If you're going to leave, if it was a slip, it's a lot more manageable. If it's a mooring, it's not. But it has been talked about, and it would be further discussed, because we are in the hopes that the moorings get utilized 100% of the time. That's the goal. But thank you for that input. Do we have Mr. Drake now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for your patience. I submitted a couple letters. I hope the committee has had a chance to read them.
Okay, I have not myself. I am traveling, and I don't have my laptop, and I'm working off my cell phone, so I don't see your letter. When was that submitted?
About 8 or 9 days ago.
Okay. All right, could you tell us the crux of the letter?
Certainly. It refers to two issues. Well, the survivability of the slip. I'm in my early 70s now, and the boat's in my name, the slip's in my name. My daughter Molly, who's present at the meeting, she and her partner have been helping me run the business for the last couple of summers. They're in the process of getting their captain's licenses. In the meantime, they've been running the dock and the office, and soon they'll be on the dock, the office, and the boat. It's been a very positive business down there for employees, for the public, tourists, people that live here year round. We've done a lot of charity trips with military groups, church groups, synagogue, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, grammar school, and whatnot. We do about 250 trips a season, and we average 5 trips a day in and out during the season. Anyways, it's been a very, very good business. I started it 32 years ago, and as I said, for the most part, it's all positive. We haven't had an injury on the boat in 25 years. We're inspected by the Coast Guard annually, both on the water and out of the water. The credentials and certification of the captains and crew are reviewed each year by the Coast Guard. I don't know that we've had any complaints that have been recorded anywhere, and I would really like to see the business continue. My daughter would, my son would, so that's that. I'm wondering if there's an accommodation, if there's any way we can get access to a slip that is perhaps outside of the rules, the regular rules, or if the rules might be changed or bent to allow certain businesses to continue on beyond the life of beyond my life, or any other similar businesses that are in similar situations where the founder of the business is now retiring, and when the founder dies, they lose rights to the slip, of course. And so that's item number one. Item number two is last May, late May, a large boat was awarded a slip assignment right next to my boat, the Sea Gypsy, and it was quite a problem docking when that boat was in. In fact, it was impossible to dock without hitting that boat or hitting the pilings between. In one of the letters, we documented the space between the two boats. There's 19 and a half inches between the two boats when they're both tied up tightly against their respective pilings. It's a large boat. It's the Angler. It's 75 feet long. It maintains its full beam for about a 55 or 60 foot run. And when I go in, it's impossible for me to get in that and to carry my boat in 50 or 60 feet without hitting the Angler or bouncing off my pilings and then hitting the Angler, We've tried many different ways, rolling in on a polyform buoy. The problem with that is a 10-inch buoy compresses to 5 inches, and then the rails of the two boats are scraping each other. So we have to use a poly buoy that's 16 inches, and then there's no room. Then there's no additional room. I have a young crew. They're all teenagers, either high school or young college age kids. I train them to keep their hands out of the way. My boat weighs 30,000 pounds coming in, and I warn them, I train them to keep their hands out of the way. If I'm scraping against the pilings, it's a hazard, it's a danger. If I'm scraping against the other boat, it's a danger for my deckhands. Also, there's 40 passengers on the boat. When we come in tight quarters like that, quite often parents want to help, and they reach their arms out. Of course, we instruct them not to, but it's hard to contain 40 people all the time while we're docking. Without the angler there, we could keep a 4-foot distance from the piling and toss the lines and get the lines on the cleat without hitting, without bouncing from side to side, and eliminating the scraping, and which would reduce the chances for an injury. All right, yeah, then in a nutshell, those are my two issues regarding the Sea Gypsy and Pirate Adventures. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Have you talked with the Harbor Master Department about this, or is this the first time this is coming up?
No, I was in contact with Brian and Derek in late May, early June, right through the summer. I told Brian I would try different techniques of docking, and again, I used the poly buoys. It turns out the buoys had to be so big that, I was talking with Brian mostly during the summer, and then also Derek came down and met me as well, and I demonstrated how my concern about my crew members reaching their hands to the spring lines when the two boats are side by side.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm Dan's daughter. I'm hoping to be taking over Pirate Adventures. I just want to add on to that the Harbor Master's Department was very responsive to Than's letters, and they had the angler towards the end of the summer was not sharing our slip, which was great. I think my dad, and thank you for that, I think my dad is, what he's getting to is the question of who will we be next to next summer, and just kind of raising that question. If these could, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I've actually found your letter here now, going back just to see that. And obviously, safety is paramount. I'm familiar with your operation from the time when I ran the Marine unit for the police department. So I've seen you out there many, many years, and it's a good operation. And when you have young kids working on the boats, yeah, that is of concern. Okay, well, we have these letters, and we'll talk with the Harbor Master Department. I'm not sure, they have their annual contract renewals, and not sure where everybody is going back to the same slip or not, but we'll certainly take this under advisement and have a discussion, and see what comes of it going forward. As far as passing along the slip, I know there is some pretty hard and fast regulations, so, and I think I'm looking, okay, I'm just reading the other thing about the, from your attorney there, so, okay, yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up to us. Committee members, anybody have anything to, say about this?
I'd like to say something. When I was a little kid, I actually went on that pirate adventure thing and pulled up the sea chest and you grab a handful of junk and whatever, spray the pirate. It's been around for a very, very, very long time. And as far as the inheritance thing goes, it is something that I am also interested in. And I know a lot of people are in the aquaculture business and the commercial fishing business and the mooring business. And so I think that hopefully, we can have a discussion about how small businesses can be protected. We're losing our working waterfront. It's harder and harder to get into this business. Any business on the water, especially given the wait lists and the how hard it is to get a slip or a mooring. And so, but we got to make sure that we don't open a door for, just some guy to just make an LLC that holds his, center console, so I'm absolutely for protecting the small business. Well, I think it would be great to have a better discussion about that.
Okay, Jacob, thank you.
I as well concur with that, is that I think that merits a conversation, obviously for a different meeting, but whereas the moorings can be handed down, I think it's time that as a committee, we at least engage the conversation, whether it's through a workshop or through a meeting, that we explore those possibilities, because to continue a working waterfront and to examine some policies and procedures that might need to be re-examined is always a good thing, and keep everything fluid.
All right, thanks, Todd. Okay, like you say, discussion for another time, but we have, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just say, I'd appreciate if everyone could take the time to read the two letters, because they are written better than I speak in public. So you'll get I think. Okay, appreciate it.
I've actually, I was able to download I have an iPad, so I downloaded your letters with the pictures here, with the level and the tape measure in between, and I get you, and particularly, young kids trying to fend off boats and hands and feet and everything else, just a recipe for disaster. I get it.
Well, right, and again, the boat with full of passengers is in excess of 30,000 pounds, and nobody should have their hands in between rub rails and pilings. And there's got to be enough of a margin so that one can throw a dock line without having their fingers in the mix.
Yep. Okay, all right, sir. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, and you'll be hearing, I'm sure, from the Harbor Master Department what possibilities we have going forward.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Appreciate all of you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have a Harbor Master report.
Yes, sir. We are continuing to be busy around here. We just finalized getting all the ATOMs out of the water in the town of Barnstable. We do over 200 ATOMs every year, including the swim areas, the slow speed, no wakes, the regular aids to navigation. We also maintain all our own vessels, so we've been busy getting everything winterized, shrink wrapped, safe for the winter. We, also maintain our shellfish department, our natural resource department. That's all underneath the Harbor Master Maintenance Program. So that's kept us very busy in the last month. But the big news today is that the mooring permit renewals went out today. Everyone received their email. It's an online process like we've done the years past. To all our permit holders, please read the first page. It's going to tell you what needs attention. It's highlighted in red. If you need to upload a registration or an excise tax, you have the ability to do that. The harbor master's office will approve it. You'll receive an email that'll allow you to pay. And just keep in mind that we launched early this year. It's only December 17th. We wanted to get these renewals out there so that people have a chance to look at the documentations that they need to facilitate their renewal. We will not start permitting until January 1st, so don't be alarmed. If you pay and your sticker doesn't arrive in the mail, we won't even begin mailing them out until January. Other than that, it was a long meeting, so I'm going to cut it short, and we'll see you guys next month.
Great, thanks, Jay. And finally, any matters not anticipated by the chair? Does anybody have anything further they'd like to bring up? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, and our next meeting will be January 21st.
So move.
All right, second. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.